Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Bethpage, Long Island, New York, for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business. And this is another in a long series of how to win at your tax return. Think about that. That's right, folks. I've been focusing a lot on getting your tax return filed because you don't want to a repeat of last year's monstrosity where people like my aunt just got her 2020 tax refund mailed to her, even though we told them to directly deposit it. The funny thing is now the IRS is uh, spouting out that people should ask for direct deposit. So I don't know what that's all about. Actually, I do. The system is messed up, to put it lightly. And one of my missions is to help you, the taxpayer, the unwilling taxpayer, the people that don't have a choice but to file taxes, which is hundreds of millions of people have to file taxes, and try to make it as easy as possible, because the truth is that it is unbelievably complicated. Even the most simple return, somebody with just a W-2, you don't know if you're going to get a credit. And I mean, there's an expanded earned income credit if you have a child, and you got an advanced child tax credit. uh, there's all kinds of uh, we're getting hit from all sides. Some of it is good, a lot of it is good, some of it is bad. But the worst thing, folks, is actually getting your return prepared and filed accurately. Because if it's not accurate and you're expecting a refund, guess what? If you're expecting a refund and there's one piece of information that's not entered correctly, you go to the back of the line. Now, also, and the IRS is being upfront about this, anybody that claims a child tax credit is going to, you're not going to see your refund until March. So even if you file it now, which the IRS gates open on Tuesday, January 25th, to file your return. But if you're due a credit, you're not going to see it hopefully the beginning of March. So if you most people can see their refund in 2 or 3 weeks. So you might have to wait another 2 or 3 extra weeks to get your refund, which really goes against everything that they say they're trying to do. They want to get money in the hands of people. So, I don't know whether to be happy, sad, but what I do know is everybody needs a tax preparer or some guidance. And tonight I'm going to share with you some of the ways that you could actually find a tax preparer, because unfortunately, folks, I can't do millions of tax returns. I love doing people's tax returns. And if you have a question, a comment, a situation, please feel free to book a free chat with me at timewithjoe.com. It's simple, it's painless. Please don't make it, and don't book an appointment to just chat and get to be friends. If you want to do that, I'm more than happy to meet you at our mastermind. I'm trying to, here it is. Mastermind with Joe. We meet every Friday, 11:30 p.m. to 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We play games, we give away prizes, and most important, we learn. We teach each other and we learn from each other's knowledge and experience. And tonight, folks, what I really want to do is talk about how you can find a good, competent tax preparer and stay away from those criminally minded tax preparers, because believe it or not, most of the tax scams are perpetrated by, guess who? Criminal tax preparers. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me get rid of this mastermind with Joe. Uh, And so you'll see that I have been using a lot of the tools and resources that the IRS themselves are providing, because it's easy and a lot of it is good. If you know me, I've been poo-pooing a lot of stuff that the IRS puts out as self-serving, scaring the public, and that's still true. But recently, I found a lot of very helpful information on the website. It might, I don't know if it has anything to do with them getting slammed for all the problems after and during the pandemic. You know, all the pandemic really did was magnify how bad they are. And when I say how bad they are, I'm not talking about the individuals that work at the IRS, because my aunt worked there, my brother-in-law worked there. I know plenty of people that work there. I don't know anybody that's working there now, but if you are, God bless you. I feel for you. And believe me, I am not ever going to take the brunt of my frustrations out on you, the person that's actually trying to help. Because in my experience, with a few exceptions, every time I've gotten in touch or had to get in touch with the IRS, I've dealt with people that were professional, courteous, and were just trying to do their job. And my job tonight is to help you try to find a competent tax preparer. And going to the website, and I actually put the link to this page in the site. You have to hunt for this if you're not. But another way to find this is if you just simply Google IRS needs somebody to prepare your tax return. Okay, so if you're not watching live, if you're watching the replay and you can't get to the link, just Google need someone to prepare your tax return. I'm going to put this in the chat. And first let me cover the people that can't afford a tax preparer or think they can't afford one, because the truth is, even the franchise companies, I'm not going to name any, but you know who they are. It costs hundreds of dollars to even get a simple return done, and that's the going rate. So let's go to uh, the free file. Where do I have this? Oh, that's in another page. So here is a free file, do your taxes for free. And this is not a scam, folks. I know there's companies out there that say they'll file your federal return for free, but lo and behold, you got to still file your state if you're in a state that has an income tax. Some of them don't, like Texas, Nevada, Florida, Wyoming. They don't have personal income taxes. But if you're in one of those states that do, what good is it to just file your federal? Because you still have to file the state, and they're going to hit you for fees for filing the state. Okay. And then they're probably going to nickel and dime you for all kinds of other things. This is not the same. Okay. So, what I've been telling people, like, I live in New York State, and they have a piggyback program where you can go on there, file your federal and your state tax return for free. Anybody whose adjusted gross income is 73,000 or less. Okay, so that's like, let's say you made 75,000 and you had $3,000 worth of stock losses. So now your adjusted gross income is 72,000. And if you have a question about what AGI is, you could just go through this. And so what they say is answer a few simple questions, and this is guided. So now I haven't done this myself, but I went through it, and you could, hopefully, if you can't trust the IRS with this, then you're in real trouble. But I'm going to go back to where how to actually find a professional non-criminal tax preparer. but this really got my my curiosity, and you could see and you're going to answer the same questions if you try to do this on your own. So this is guided. So let's say you're single, you're 60, you live in the United States, New York. No. So you could see, I mean, these are pretty uh, simple questions. Okay, so pre-tax wages, that's if you get a W-2. Some of these terms, you might not uh, get, but let's say we made $72,900. We have none of these deductions. So work where federal income taxes are not withheld, or self-employed income. Anyway, so you have a couple of above the line deductions. What I mean by above the line is there are adjustments to income. And when you get down to this, in other words, your income minus the adjustments, some of the adjustments are things like student loan, uh, IRA contribution. So if you're over the 73, you might actually go below the 73 to qualify here. So let's say that this is 75,000. So I don't qualify for the free thing, but then I have 2,000 in student, no, let's say 1,000 in student loan interest. And I'm going to do an IRA for 2,000. So that brings my adjusted gross income down to 72,000. Let's forget about the earned income credit for now, because that's pretty complicated. You are not eligible for, please. Yes. No, I am not eligible. Okay. So now we come to, so here's my information, and here's the companies that will help us do our return. So let's say, and these are not the IRS. These are companies that are partnered with the IRS. So let's see, Any Age, this is OLT. I'm not familiar with them, but I could say the IRS has vetted these companies, and you could be safe knowing that they're going to do the right thing. And if they don't, I'm going to show you how to complain. So they'll also do any state. Let's view this offer. And then you go through it. So I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, it's not brain surgery. Some of the questions might be a mystery to people, but again, you can call them. You can tap into the software companies' resources. But let's get into a more serious issue here with, sometimes it's easier to vet out who do I not want to do my tax return, because there are people, sometimes it's easier to find out, to identify who you don't want to do business with, and then you vet them out, and then you're left with the people that you might want to do business with. So first, let me point out, this is a simple one: ghost tax return preparers. Now, what does that mean? That means preparers that do not sign your return, which is illegal. Okay. And also, if you have any comments, you can post them in the chat box. We're live now, so if you're on Facebook and you're watching me live, if you have any questions, you can put them in here, and I'll try to answer them. So the ghost return preparers is, you could ask them, do you sign your tax returns? And if they say no, you run. But let's go to tips for choosing a tax preparer. Okay, so you want to know what type of tax preparer they are. We can actually go back here. So what kind of tax preparer do I need? And they say anyone can be a paid tax return preparer as long as they have a PTIN, IRS Preparer Tax Identification Number. So in order for me, so this is wrong. Not everyone can file a return, but anyone can be a tax return preparer, which means you got to actually be registered with the IRS. And now the IRS actually has a database to see if somebody is registered with them. So that's how you can vet out the ghost return preparers. So here's some of the tips that they have. Uh, First, what kind of tax return preparer do you need? I'm sorry, let me go back to that again. So if you're registered, you don't need any special credentials to get a P10. Okay, but there are different types of preparers. So I'm a certified public accountant, and I am qualified to do tax returns. Uh, Attorneys are qualified to do tax return. Well, just because they're an attorney doesn't mean that they're a tax preparer. So you got to be careful. Just because somebody has an attorney, they might even call themselves a tax attorney, but not really know anything about taxes. So you want somebody that actually does tax returns, not somebody that just says that they do tax returns. And same thing with CPAs. People assume that CPAs know taxes. And the truth is that a lot of CPAs don't, because certified public accountant, what one of the main things of being a CPA is that you can do audited financial statements. Okay, that's what I was trained in college, and when I got out of college, I had to do 2 years worth of auditing, which was the most boring stuff in the world to me. I didn't like it. So I don't do audits. I am specifically a tax specialist, more more focused on businesses, small businesses. So that's the kind of preparer I am. There's also enrolled agents who I have a lot of respect for enrolled agents because all they do are taxes. They don't practice law, they don't do auditing. They have to go through a rigorous test to become an enrolled agent. Now, all of us, the attorneys, the CPAs, and the enrolled agents are also authorized to represent clients in front of the IRS. In other words, I can get a power of attorney because I have the credentials. If I was just a registered preparer, in other words, I had a P10, that does not mean that I can represent my clients before the IRS, which could be very important because sometimes, and not even sometimes, a lot of times now, I have to contact the IRS on behalf of my clients because there's some kind of notice or the IRS is threatening to levy them, or God forbid, there's an audit. You need to have the credentials to do this. So, how do you check the tax preparer's credentials? Well, there's actually a database here, and I just checked this out. 117. So I'm going to put my stuff in here, Joe DeChara. I am a certified public accountant. We're going to check if I'm in the database. Oh my God, I'm not here. That's because I got to put my last name in, not my. I almost thought that I wasn't qualified now. So here I am, and so you could see that I am a qualified preparer. So that's a very good way uh, to find out if you're using somebody uh, reputable. Now, that doesn't mean everything, but it means that you've narrowed me down to somebody that's actually licensed and on the IRS's database. So that's important. So now, last but not least, what if I have a complaint about a tax preparer? Now, I've never had one IRS complaint or any kind of complaint civilly against me, and that does, people can make complaints that are unfounded. So I've never even had an unfounded complaint. And if it happens, it happens, as long as I know that I'm doing the right thing. But So over here, actually, so here they have choose returns wisely, and they have a list of questions. Find something that's available year round. That's important because if you have, one of these firms that they close down for 8 months out of the year, that's going to be hard if you get a notice or something from the government, not just the IRS, but from the state that you have to answer. Ask them if they have a P10. Like I said, anybody ever asked me for my P10, I would be happy to give it to them, and my federal tax ID number because it's on the return. It's not like I'm giving you my social security number. I have an entity set up to do my business, and I have a federal ID number, and I have a P10. Uh, Check the qualifications, like I just saw. Uh, you could check the preparer's history with the Better Business Bureau. You can ask about the fees. You can ask for referrals. Do some vetting. Do some vetting, and don't just assume that uh, somebody that says they can do your return can do it professionally and accurately. Uh, it's very, very important. I've seen people shop accountants based on, how much can you get me back? My other guy got me everything back. That's not a good measure. Okay, maybe they got you everything back because they were doing something they shouldn't be doing. And I've seen firms like that. I've reviewed their tax returns for people that got in trouble and came to me. So you got to be careful. Careful, and do your due diligence. Again, if you want to reach out to me, if you have any questions, you can always book a free chat with me. Go to Time with Joe. Or if you want the more than just Time with Joe, you can go to Mastermind with Joe, and we meet every Friday. It's an open forum. Also, every month we have a free workshop, and you can find the free workshop by going to bedrockbusinessbuilders.com. You can go to the events link, and every month we have another workshop on different topics. And again, there's an open forum where you can get to Stump Joe DeChara. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. When you file your return, if you're required to file, make sure that you find a good, competent tax preparer. Okay, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. God bless. And if you're on the East Coast, watch out for the storm. I heard it's going to be a doozy.